What's good people? Let's talk. Hey man, I lost my best friend. I lost my best friend. Hey, before we get started, like you guys to click that like, share, and subscribe. You already know what I say. HBO special. Hey man, before I get on the way, man, paradedeck.com. If you guys are looking for many more military influencers, check out paradedeck.com. They talk about similar subjects that I talk about. Maybe like just to get on there and support the team. Just go on out there and check out paradedeck.com. Thank you guys for the likes, shares, and the comments. Thank you for sticking it out with me thus far. Hey, I just lost my best friend. I've shared the story about my boy Blue Onyx. Yeah, he's a dog. And I hope it's more than just military personnel just listening to my podcast because I think, like I said on my last podcast, I think it's more than just military that can grab things from what I say. I'm looking to get some firefighters or police officers on here to get on here and talk to me about their experiences because I think the United States, they need to hear what you go through, how you deal with the things that you deal with because you're in a job that has so many variables. You don't know what's what. So, I think the people need to get an understanding of what you do and who you become because it's quite similar to the military, especially if the military is deployed to another country. Hey, hey, yo, I lost my boy Blue Onyx, my dog. I talked about him on here before. I have. I shared the story. Should I share it again? Should I? Yeah. Yeah, I think I should. I think I should. This me getting on here is kind of my therapy talking about it. I hope somebody's listening. If you're listening, thank you for listening. I volunteered. It was a school assignment to graduate from one of my classes. I had to volunteer at a place, and one of the animal shelters was one of the places that I wanted to volunteer. you know, First day of seeing Onyx, I looked over there. I didn't go towards the cage, but I just looked over there. Next day, I asked the lady about him at the front desk, and they were telling me, "Hey, Onyx can't be adopted because he's a little aggressive. He bit a couple of the workers there." I shared some of this on one of my previous podcasts, but I think this is a little bit more in depth here. Yeah, he had a red. The next, I went out there and looked. He had a red sign on there that said "bite, bite." So you know what they do with dogs that bite? They eventually put them down if nobody comes to adopt. But I think they were a no-kill shelter. I'm not 100% certain, but I don't think they keep dogs that bite. I don't think they do. But I seen the red tag on there. I sat by his cage. He was barking, but he wasn't barking at me. He was barking at the person that was standing a little distance because I sat by the cage. Even though I was by the cage, he was right by it, looking at the other person. So I think he seen that I wasn't afraid of him. And the next day after that, it was a couple of days. I think if I remember right, it was about 3 or 4 days. I kept coming back to his cage before I took him out. And within those 3 or 4 days, he'll move back and forth, in his cage, but he'll be barking aggressively. I say, you know what? Let me go grab a leash. I grabbed the leash. I went inside the cage. I got him out. But he was like, oh, watch out. Because he was running back and forth. Now, he wasn't going to bite me. I wasn't afraid of him. He let me put the leash on him. He was still barking. And the lady was like, "What?" So I took him for a walk. He was hesitant, you know. He hasn't been on a leash for a while. He wanted to kind of go back to his cage because I think he's been there for a while. He was about a year and a half, somewhere. I think he's been there since probably 8 months since, if I remember correctly, what the lady was telling me. He's been there for a while. That he belonged to someone that was in the service in the army, and they couldn't take him to the next duty station because he's a blue nose big boy. You know, people call him bullies now. He was a big guy. He big old head, big old neck, big old neck. It was yeah. I never really did measurements. I'm gonna say about 21 inch around there, probably 24-inch neck. He had a huge neck, big old head too. I'm gonna put some pictures on there as a thumbnail. But the lady was like, took him for a walk for a couple of days. Then I started giving him treats. So I went back inside on one of the days that I took him for a walk and asked the lady, it's like, hey, is that guy up for adoption? Can I adopt? She said, like, she was like, no, like I told you before, he's, the bites. I said, no, let me take him home for a couple of times. I come back after I get done doing my work, then my volunteer work. I take him out the cage, I put him in a car, and I bring him back. I did that. Well, I can't remember how long I did that, but I did that for a minute. Then the lady explains to me he had a problem. I'm like, what's this problem that he had? He had dermodectic mange. But at that point, he had all of his hair. She was explaining to me during different seasons, it might act up. And like with his young age, it'll act up and he'll lose his hair. And sometimes it gets that aggressive. So we're not pretty sure. We just got his hair back on. He was kind of pink on his belly. I say, you know what? I was looking at him. She asked me, hey, if you wanna foster, you can go ahead and foster because we can't really fully adopt him out until he's fully cured of what was going on with him at that moment. And she was explaining, hey, it might come back. It's not a for sure thing. It might come back. So I get him. He's on his medications. I think every 2 to 3 days, I had to give him medications and give him a bath with two different medicated shampoos. So I did that for the first year. I'm gonna say the first year of me having. Yeah, it was a lot of work with this guy. A lot of work. At that time, I didn't have to pull out any money out of my pocket because he was a foster, and they were giving me all the meds and the shampoo just to continue to keep him going. I had to go in there and get him scraped. They scrape his skin and see if he has some live mange in him. Dermodectic is something that a dog gets from the mother during birth. So from that time of me having him so long, so after that year, I adopted him. But it was some conditions behind me adopting him. I had to get him fixed because it's some type of rule that if you adopt a dog out of that shelter that you had to get him fixed. I said, you know what, no problem. Because chances were you guys are gonna put him down anyway. So go ahead and do what you gotta do. Mange was clear. We got the clear. Got a $50. I had to pay $50 to adopt him. Even though I've been feeding this Joker for over a year now, walking him, getting his hey, sit, stay stuff in place. Brought him in the house, had to get him adapted to the two little dogs that I had. He didn't have a problem, first off. I think the little dogs didn't like him. They was chihuahuas. You know how those ankle biters are. Mason and DJ. Mason and DJ. But that loss wasn't as hard as this loss. Because Onyx, he was a huge part of saving my life. You know, us guys, it's a lot of women. They come attached to an animal because to me, he was like my service dog. He'd come up when he sensed that I'm feeling bad and he put his head on me and then he'll just sit there. He'll just sit there. Every time he felt me in some type of mood, he'll just sit there. And sometimes he'll stand up and he'll walk towards the door and he'll look at me. He'll look at the door. He'll look at me. You know, hinting towards, hey man, let's go. You feeling bad? You got to get up, move around. That was him. He, you know, he'll pant. He'll look at me, move around in the circles. Hey man, you feeling bad? We got to go. So that is one of the individuals that got in my head that whenever you're feeling down and you're in the slumps, you got to get up and get moving. You have something to fight for. But hey, let me backpedal a little bit about this mange that he had. After the adoption, I know I'm all over the place, but I needed to drive something to the people about this story, about who this guy was to me. Uh, After I'm gonna say 6 or 7 months, come time of the winter, the change in the weather, the mange came back, and it came back strong, strong. I'm gonna tell you, my man was 15 years old. It came back strong. He lost all of his hair, even with me giving him the medication and the baths. I had to come out of pocket for this stuff. It wasn't easy. It was. And this went on season after season for about, I want to say 5 years until it just rolled over to an allergy problem. The older he got, the more his immune system was kicking in his body and it was fighting it off. So he had gotten to that point, but this went on for years. He fought for years. First thought when I got him, he had gotten into a car accident and the lady was telling me that he had a hard time. They had a hard time bringing him back. They had to do surgery. So Alex was a fighter. He was a fighter. And, you know, one thing I say to him is like, hey, man, I got you. As long as you fight, I got you. And that's what put me towards hey, you got to keep moving. And they say, hey, he, like in a roundabout way, he telling me, you told me, you got me. And he told me, I got you. You know, dogs can't speak, but you can feel it. You can feel it. He felt when you were feeling bad. If I had company to come over and they felt kind of bad, he'll go sit next. He didn't even know him. He'll go sit next to them. He'll just sit there, like right by their thigh. He wouldn't expect them to pat him. He wouldn't look at him. He'll just sit there. It's like adding comfort. And he was a special kind of guy. My boy Blue. Never really. I've only seen him be aggressive a couple of times, and it was towards some sketchy people or somebody trying to come in the backyard. Or the, the time I locked my keys in the house. Yeah, I'm just sharing stuff, man. I hope y'all follow me. Let's just talk, man. Let's just get on here and talk. Or I locked my keys in the house and I came in through the window through the back of the house. Oh my God, I thought that guy was gonna rip my head off. He was very aggressive until his eyes changed until he realized he's like I seen the anger in his face. I was like, hold on, big guy. Scale back. It's me. And it took me about 60 seconds, like a minute, to get him to realize that it was me. Cause he was about to tear my damn head off. Hey man, listen, the story that I just shared with you guys, from what Onyx instilled in me, he was a pup that saved me. He got me to realize that whenever you feel a particular type of way, you have to get up and move. Get up and move around. It's not necessarily going to cure you, because during the last years of his life, that dermodectic came back. He didn't lose his hair or anything, but he was having skin problems. He was an old guy. He fought and he continued to fight until the day that he passed. And that was, signs that he's telling me, hey man, keep going. Don't give up. You don't have to stop because of you have dermodectic veins. You don't have to stop. You know that look. Hey, keep moving. It doesn't necessarily say you heal. It don't. Just follow me. It don't. You're not healed. You're still going to deal with these things because of how you deal with these things. How do you cope? Some people can't be around people for a long stint of the time, and I understand that. I really do. Some people just like their space, and they're comfortable with that. I can't say you're wrong. I can't. I'm nobody to sit back and say that you're wrong for feeling the way that you feel. One thing I can sit back and say, when you get the feeling down or in the slump, make a move on something. Something. Do something constructive. For a lot of vets, it's playing video games. I can't hate you for that. A lot of people might say something about it, but if that's what takes your mind off of things that took place or keeps you in a steady grind of being you, or just escaping from reality, because for a lot of the part, I might play a game probably once or twice a week. It just takes me away from reality because of the variables that individuals deal with on a day-to-day basis. I'm just rambling, just talking, just follow me. If you ever feel down, man, down and out, you have to have somebody. If it's a human, it's a human. If it's a cat, it's a cat. If it's a dog, okay, I got you. Know, a bird that gives you something to let you know those signs to keep moving. Don't stop moving. The fight is always worth fighting for, whatever that fight is. I'm a little bit choked up. I can't lie to you. I'm still dealing with this guy's missing. I can't. But every time I see his face in my head, keep moving. He's still alive. Keep moving. That death that we dealt with from Iraq, that losing that friend from Iraq, they're still alive. Keep moving. Remember them with a smile. Joke. Keep moving. Keep moving. I have a leash that I have. I'm about to close out. I think I went over my time. I have a leash that I had that he used to wear as camouflage. And when I go for my walks now, it's not been long since he passed. When I go for my walks, put that leash around all across my body. If I'm walking, he's walking with me. And that's the mindset that I have to have when I deal with certain things, even from the friends that I've lost in Iraq. If I'm walking, they're walking with me. I'm walking, he's walking with me. It's like the quote from Maya Angelou. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And part of those individuals that help mold and build me, they're walking with me daily. Time goes by so fast, and the friends have sometimes leave, but it doesn't mean you stop loving them. Just keep moving. Just remember that with you. Just remember that. Hey man, let's talk. Who's up next for formation? Out.